Welcome back. Sue Knight, I'm making the trip in from Walhashindig today to talk to us about a great event they're having in 2 Saturdays from now. Sue, it's great to have you back on the show.
Thank you, Susan.
Yes. This is, I believe, the 3rd year you've been doing this?
This is the 3rd year.
Okay. Walhashindig. I gotta love it, and I love the T-shirt you're wearing that shows everybody about this. So this is 3rd year. How did this all come about? Was it your brainchild? Or?
It was my wife and my idea. We decided to do a community event, have some musicians, the local musicians come by and play. And the first year we had about 400 people. Last year we had another 300 to 400 people come and show. So it was really nice. It went very well.
Awesome. What do you guys do? What goes on there?
Well, it starts at 10 o'clock and it goes on until the musicians want to stop playing, 10 to 4. We have a face painter for the children. This year we're doing it on the Father's Day weekend. Mm-hmm. And here's the cenotaph.
Let's hold on this picture for a minute, yeah.
Just want to talk about this. The Canada 150 gave us a grant to build this cenotaph, and it just was erected last week.
Nice.
And we're going to do an unveiling and a little ceremony to celebrate this, because it's been 100 years since the First World War,
sure.
1918.
Wow.
And we have one citizen from Walhashindig at that time. He received the Victoria Cross, Gordon Flowerdew,
yes,
which is the highest honor that the Brits could give to that. So we're going to have a little ceremony starting at 10 o'clock, an unveiling of the cenotaph, and hopefully some wreaths are going to be placed there just to commemorate that. And then we're going to start with the Walhashindig, which you could see last year we had about 300 to 400 people. We sell hamburgers, hot dogs, bannock. We have musicians from Williams Lake, Kamloops, Ashcroft, all over the place. 9 groups are coming. We have someone doing face painting. It's Crystal's face painting, and again, it's the bands. This is the Alkalonics playing, and then we have this. Yeah, this lady won the 50-50 draw twice.
No way.
Last year.
Well done.
And then we have our fire truck coming out, so the kids can crawl around and even put a fire truck jacket on if they like.
That's great.
And all these different musicians coming.
Would it be true to say, Sue, that a good reason for having this event is so that people know that Walhashindig is there and it has such a rich history to it, particularly prior to the First World War? And I'm surprised, in fact, the cenotaph has only just gone in now, but good for you guys. I know you're probably monumental in spearheading that, because the real history about Walhashindig really stems from that time period. So much of Walhashindig's history from that First World War and just before it.
Yes, basically Walhashindig existed from 1910 to 1914, and that's it. And this cenotaph is not just commemorating the Brits and some of the Canadians, but also the First Nations that went to fight, and the Chinese. And we're just putting a list together, and their names will be put on the cenotaph once we have the complete list.
Do you have I don't want to put you on the spot, but how many residents at the time, well, in the height, and I know we've discussed this before, but I think people who weren't watching the last time would find it interesting. How many residents at the height of Walhashindig's existence, and then how many went off to war?
There were 350 Walhashindians, 150 Brits, and 97 of the 107 able-bodied men went to war to fight. 97
of 107.
It's the highest in Canada, highest per capita in Canada.
And a lot of their families went with them and said, oh, you know, Dad's going to go off to war, but we'll just stay in and make a holiday out of it, because this war's not going to last very long, and then we'll all just come back.
Correct. They just thought the war would be 2 or 3 months, so they didn't even pack their stuff. They left everything lying there. They just said, okay, well, we'll go visit family in Britain while our husbands or sons fight, and then we'll come back. But it was 4 years later, and then a few came back.
But not many.
But not many. And then there was a beautiful hotel, and we have pictures of it, but it was torn down in 1922. But it was just a place where the Brits themselves can go. Nobody else no other Canadian was allowed to go in.
Is that right?
Yeah. They had these 4 o'clock coffees, for example. They dress up, and no Canadians could come, just the Brits for themselves. Only one Canadian was allowed, and her name was Fanny Foucault. And because she was an amazing entertainer. She was a friend of Emily Carr's. And so she could come in and join them, but no other Canadians were allowed.
Why was the hotel torn down so quickly after being erected, only 14 years?
It was in poor shape. It was just falling apart. Nobody was there. It was basically a railway town again. because the CNCP were going through. The Chinese started moving out. They were gold panning at that time, and they stopped. And so the town just died after 1918, 1920. And the post office finally closed in 1990. It used to have a grocery store and a haberdashery and 2 laundries and it's amazing. A Chinese grocery store was there too in the 1910, 1950.
But it's all gone now.
It's all gone.
However, this is a great opportunity for people to go and check out this town. I've been there a few times. I find it very intensely interesting, the history especially. There is a museum there. Sue was on the show not long ago to talk about that. Will the museum be open during this time?
Yes, because the Walhashindig is in the museum itself.
Ah.
And it's in the building. It's a 1910 hall. People can still browse around and look at all the artifacts and everything like that.
Yeah.
And we're open Monday, Friday, Saturday, every week, 11 to 4.
Okay, so it doesn't just have to be this opportunity. It can be right through the summer those days.
Yeah. Sorry, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Tell me this, what time does the Walhashindig get underway?
It starts at 10 with the unveiling of the cenotaph.
Okay.
We have the Sage Sound Singers involved too. They're going to be singing O Canada, Raising the Flag. And then we have this beautiful song they're going to sing while the wreaths are being placed. And then we have the music starting around 10:30, and then people get free hamburgers for the first 50 fathers, and then go on from there.
Awesome, good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so thank you for being here to tell us about this. Again, this is not this Saturday, next Saturday, June the 16th, starting at 10. If you would like to take part in this, of course, you can find Walhashindig quite easily on the map, but it is west of Kamloops, just beyond Kamloops Lake, about, 15-minute drive past the lake? Yeah, great day to be there and to learn a little bit about the history of this very interesting town. We're back after a quick break. Stay with us.